Chapter 22. Noah and the Old Man. "I'm sorry your father died," said Noah, looking down at the floor. "Do you still miss him?" The old man nodded and looked around the room. "I think of him when I come in here every morning," he said, "when I ate my breakfast, when I'm looking forward to the day ahead, and at night when I'm sitting by the fire reading a book. I imagine he's there beside me, watching over me. I feel him close by, and I tell him that I'm sorry I wasn't there at the end." Noah said nothing for a long time. He could hear a lot of conversations taking place in his head, a lot of arguments, some of which he wanted to listen to, and some of which he wanted to ignore altogether. "Can we go back downstairs?" he asked, standing up and rubbing his arms. "It feels a little cold up here, and I should probably be leaving soon anyway." "Of course, my boy," said the old man, walking over towards Henry and opening him up. "Please, follow me." They walked out onto the staircase, stepping back for a moment to allow the door to go downstairs first, and once he was comfortably settled into the wall below, they turned his handle and went through into the toy shop once again. "Doesn't it ever get lonely, living here all alone?" asked Noah, looking around with the curious sensation that some of the puppets were now in different places from where they had been before. "Sometimes," admitted the old man, "but I'm an old man now, and I ain't looking for company." "How old are you exactly?" The old man considered this and scratched his chin. "To be honest, I've lost track," he said, "but I'm no spring chicken. I know that much for sure." "I'm surprised you decided to stay here," said Noah, "after your father died. I mean, you could have had so many adventures for the rest of your life. You could have travelled the world." "But every day has been an adventure," replied the old man, smiling. "It doesn't matter whether I'm here with my puppets or 10,000 miles away. Something interesting always happens, wherever you are. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but—" "It does," said Noah. "But don't you ever sell any of these puppets?" he asked. "Oh, no," replied the old man. "No, they're not for sale." "Not for sale?" asked Noah, laughing. "But this is a shop, isn't it?" "It's a place where things are made, certainly. And there's a front door, of course, most days. And over there is a cash register, although I'm not sure if it works anymore. Is it a shop?" "Perhaps it is. I don't know. Does it matter? It's my home." Noah considered this and turned round, looking at his surroundings, and took a few steps along the aisles of the shop, staring at the puppets as if they might offer up their secrets, before finally selecting from the shelves both traditional puppets of men. "Do they have names?" he asked, holding up his finds. "Oh, yes," said the old man, a great smile crossing his face. "The one in your left hand is based on my father, Popper. It's quite a good likeness, actually. And the one in your right hand, well, he was a neighbour of Popper's before I was born, Master Cherry. Pull their strings and you might see something you like." Noah looked down and pulled the strings that extended beneath the feet of the two toys. Their arms and legs rose as he expected them to. But, great delight, their hair lifted off their heads as well. "They're wearing wigs!" he cried, laughing. "They always did," explained the old man. "They got into a terrible fight once and nearly lost those wigs." "What was the fight over?" "A misunderstanding, that's all." "Oh, and did they become friends again afterwards?" "Great friends," said the old man in a satisfied tone, "and they swore to remain so for the rest of their lives." Noah nodded, pleased with the story, and replaced the puppets on the shelves. And these? He said, selecting 2 more and holding them out before him. The fox and the cat. Terrible creatures, said the old man, shaking his head and frowning, his voice growing deeper as he looked at the malevolent animals. Infamous villains, the pair of them. They robbed me of 5 gold coins and caused me to be sent to jail. Never trust a fox or a cat. There, I've said it. Noah's eyebrows danced up and down, and he looked back at the shelves for another puppet. This one, he asked, pointing at a brightly coloured creature. Ah, the cricket, said the old man in delight. A fine fellow whom I mistreated badly. Really? Asked Noah. What did you do to him? I smashed him against the wall with a wooden hammer and killed him. Noah's mouth opened wide in horror. Why? He asked. Why would you do such a thing? He accused me of having a wooden head. I may have. The old man glanced around and looked a little ashamed of himself. I may have overreacted slightly. But don't look so aghast, boy, he added. The cricket came back in a different form, a sort of ghost. We became firm friends after that. Noah shook his head, but said nothing, merely pointed at the next puppet along the wall. Now, that's a fellow I call the Fire Eater. Not a nice man at all. Tried to burn me alive once. And beside him are 2 assassins who tried to murder me. What's that in their hands? Asked Noah, leaning forwards to get a clearer look. A knife and a noose. They were torn between stabbing me and hanging me. You certainly had your share of enemies when you were young, said Noah in amazement. I did, said the old man. I don't know why. People just seem to take against me for some reason. And you carved all these puppets yourself? Every one. How extraordinary. They stay the same forever, said the old man, smiling a little. The puppets can travel and have adventures and never age a day. A boy, a real boy. He grows old. Nothing lies ahead of him but death. He stopped talking for a moment. When he looked up again, the boy was staring at him, his face filled with concern. You should never want to be anything other than you are, the old man said quietly. Remember that. You should never wish for more than you have been given. It could be the greatest mistake of your life. Noah wasn't entirely sure what the words meant, but he stored them at the back of his mind, just above his right ear, certain that a part of him might want to dig them out again one day and have a think about them. When that day came, he wanted them to be near at hand. Can I tell you a secret? Noah asked. Of course you can, replied the old man. And you won't tell anyone? The old man hesitated. Not a soul, he said. Noah's eyes opened wide. What was this? Could it possibly be? Was the old man's nose growing longer? One person, cried the old man quickly, pressing the flat of his hand to the tip of his nose in embarrassment. I might tell one person, but only one. At these words, his nose seemed to retract back to its regular position, and Noah blinked several times, unsure whether he had really seen what he thought he'd seen, or whether it had been an illusion of some sort. I have a friend, explained the old man, smiling a little, a rather elderly pig who lives on a farm near here, whom I visit regularly, and we share our secrets with each other. Would you mind if I told the pig? He's very discreet. Noah considered this for a few moments and finally nodded. I think that would be fine, he said. But just the pig. Just the pig, agreed the old man. All right then, said Noah. It's just that I think I might have made a mistake. Running away, I mean. I don't think I really thought about what it would mean. He sighed and looked around, shaking his head suddenly, as if he was trying to throw all these thoughts away, and staring at the puppets again instead. I think I should go home now. Can I have one, do you think? He asked. To take with me. The old man considered his request for a long time, but finally shook his head. I don't think so, he said. I'm sorry, but they're a part of a family, you see. They remind me of my life. But you could carve another, surely. Oh, no, he said, shaking his head. It's a curious thing. Whenever I have a block of wood in front of me, whenever I sit down to create a puppet, I'm always trying to carve something else. But for some reason, it never turns out the way I intended. I start with one idea in my mind, and then something entirely different appears out of the wood. Look at this, for example, he said, holding up the piece of wood which he had been transformed into a baboon. I wasn't trying to make a baboon. Then what were you trying to make? The old man looked away for a moment and shrugged his shoulders. It was time for him to tell the truth. Why, me, of course, he replied with a smile.